Well, spring is here, which means pothole season in West Michigan. In this week's Know the Law segment, Tom Sinas is here to talk about who's responsible for the damage to your car if you bury it in one of these potholes. So imagine you're driving down Michigan Street,
for example,
and your bumper happens to fall off in between your teeth rattling out.
An all too common occurrence, especially this time of year, right?
Definitely.
So what are the rules here? Well, we have a state law system that's supposedly supposed to deal with damage to cars from potholes. I should note that it's different than municipal laws that we may have. So the city of Grand Rapids and other cities in West Michigan may have different rules. The state has a system, and it applies to state roads. Now, those can be some of the busy roads in town. They're the roads that are connoted with an M or a US or one of those, right? So we're talking about a state road system here. So what's the basic rule? Well, how do you make the state responsible? And in this case, it's the Department of Transportation. You first have to show that they didn't keep the road in reasonable repair. Seems reasonable enough with a giant pothole like the one you described. But you also have to show that they had sufficient notice about this pothole. And that means
they knew about it and did nothing.
Yeah, and for how long? 30 days.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you have to prove that they had actual notice of the pothole for 30 days and didn't reasonably repair it, which is kind of difficult to prove. But suppose you get over that hurdle and you can prove that. Well, then what can you claim? You can only claim the damage to your vehicle that isn't covered by your insurance.
Okay.
This is an important point, not only just for potholes, but also for any motor vehicle accidents. The same rule is basically true when you're talking about a motor vehicle collision with two vehicles. If I hit you and I damage your vehicle, under Michigan law, the most that you can recover from me is $1,000. So when it comes...
The deductible, is that what we're talking about?
For some people, that is their deductible. But what if you don't have collision coverage on your vehicle? Well, you're only going to be able to get $1,000 from me if I hit you. Okay, coming back to potholes. Well, when in potholes, you're only going to be able to get recovery for damage to your vehicle that your insurance doesn't pay, right? And because it's so difficult to prove a pothole claim, all the more reason to get insurance, right? And to have as much insurance on the actual vehicle itself. All right, so what do you do if you have one of these claims? Well, you can submit it to the Department of Transportation, and if you go online, you can find the forms that they have to submit one of these claims. If your damages are less than $1,000, then you can deal directly with the Department of Transportation. For damages above $1,000, you have to file those in what is called the Court of Claims. The Court of Claims is the court you go when you've got grievances against the state. Well, what's the big takeaway here? Unfortunately, these cases are pretty difficult. You got to show that they didn't repair the road. You got to show that they knew about it for 30 days. And you got to be willing to go the distance to try to claim the damage to your vehicle. So as much as I'd like to tell you that when you drive down Michigan and have your teeth shatter and your bumper fall off, it's easy to get that paid for, it's not entirely true.
Well, let me add one thing to it. There's an app called 311, and people can take a picture. It geotags with GPS information where that pothole is. It lets the city know, at least in Grand Rapids, where that is. They can come out and fix it. It also keeps a record. So if it's there too long, you know who's responsible for it.
And that's a great point, because prevention is much better than repair.
There you go. And if somebody needs a legal question answered, they can call you at your office.
Sure. Grand Rapids, 616-301-3333, or online at sinasdramis.com, or shoot us an email at info@sinasdramis.com.
Always great to see you, Tom.
Thanks, Christian.